On a quiet Tuesday morning, the Lincoln City Zoo was just waking up. The sun was barely stretching over the enclosures, the early chatter of visitors still far away. Somewhere between the reptile house and the aviary, a zookeeper's scream shattered the calm. Dr. Raymond Carter, 47 years old, respected veterinarian and well-liked by colleagues, was found slumped against the side of the primate enclosure. His face was swollen, his lips purple. Next to him lay a toppled bucket of feed and his phone, screen cracked, buzzing with a single notification. "I'm sorry, Raymond. I'm not really enjoying this relationship anymore." From his girlfriend, Melanie. Police quickly zeroed in on Melanie. The message seemed cold, even cruel, just hours before his death. But the coroner's report complicated things. It wasn't a heart attack or a fall. It was anaphylactic shock. Dr. Carter had been fatally stung by bees. The question was, how did a man with no known allergies end up covered in bee stings in the middle of a zoo walkway? Melanie insisted she had nothing to do with it. She claimed she'd sent the breakup text in frustration, not knowing he would never read it alive. Still, investigators couldn't ignore how neatly motives seemed to fit her, a relationship falling apart, the opportunity for confrontation, maybe even rage. Then came a lead no one expected. A zoo staff member recalled seeing a man, late 40s, baseball cap pulled low, lingering near the veterinary wing in the days before the death. He wasn't a visitor. He didn't buy a ticket. Security footage showed the same man walking along the perimeter fence, always at times when Dr. Carter was on duty. The man was identified as Edward Blake. He and Dr. Carter had once been colleagues, coroners in the county medical examiner's office, more than a decade ago. 10 years earlier, Edward's only son, Marcus, had been implicated in a major drug bust. Evidence, forensic and undeniable, tied Marcus to the scene. Desperate, Edward had turned to his friend Raymond, a man of skill and influence, to alter or lose the evidence. But Dr. Carter refused. He was bound by his oath and by the law. His refusal meant Marcus was convicted, sentenced to 8 years. Edward resigned in disgrace, bitterness taking root in the space where their friendship used to be. Investigators learned that Edward had been visiting the zoo weeks before the murder, studying Dr. Carter's movements, his daily routines. The veterinary wing kept beehives for pollination in the botanical section. On the morning of the murder, Edward waited near the maintenance shed, dressed like a zoo worker. He'd stolen a transport box containing a hive, then hidden along a service path where he knew Raymond would pass alone. As Raymond approached, Edward tipped the hive over him. The swarm did what Edward had planned, tormenting and stinging until his victim collapsed. By the time the bees dispersed, Raymond was unconscious. Minutes later, his airways began to close. No one found him until it was too late. The most chilling detail? Dr. Carter wasn't allergic to bees, at least, not until recently. Investigators discovered antihistamine packs in his desk drawer, signs he'd been stung before and had mild reactions. Edward knew this and gambled that enough stings, combined with panic and isolation, would tip the reaction into fatal territory. The breakup text from Melanie had been a tragic coincidence, a cruel twist that almost sent the investigation in the wrong direction entirely. When confronted, Edward didn't deny it. His voice was calm, almost cold. "He could have saved my son. He chose his principles over friendship. 10 years I carried that. Now he knows what it feels like to be left to die." Edward was convicted of first-degree murder. But for those who knew both men, the case left scars, a reminder that grudges don't fade with time, and revenge doesn't always come with a gun or a knife. Sometimes it comes with wings.